Hi, Jocelyn. How you doing? Congratulations on being this year's scholarship winner.
Thank you.
Yeah, we were really enthused by the website that you submitted to us, and I guess we had several hundred entries, and it was you really stood out. So congratulations on being this year's Lounge Lizard Scholarship winner.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Oh yeah, it's our honor as well, and I would love to for you to just to tell us all a little bit about yourself. What you're doing. We'd love to hear a little bit about you. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, totally. Right now I'm a sophomore in a 5-year program at Drexel University in Philly. And I study user experience and interaction design. So our program is like a lot of design, but also coding and, user experience and stuff. But also on the side, I am a UX researcher associate at a nonprofit called Coded by Kids in the Philly area, where we teach kids about coding and UI UX and entrepreneurship. And we're also kind of like a group of high school, college kids where we're going through this process of like innovation ourselves and, building a startup and all that, all the skills needed for that. So I'm a very busy person, but that's what I do.
It sounds like you're going to be a fierce. You're a great designer, conceptual thinker, I guess, business strategist, businesswoman. It seems like some big things on the horizon for you.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, but yeah.
So what's your dream? How do you see yourself in 10 years from now? What are some of your aspirational goals?
I think it's a hard question because I feel like there's so many things that I would like to do. And there's always so little time, especially with like classes right now. But, in general, like I used to want to create video games, and that's what got me to like the digital media field. Oh. Yeah. And like, I also kind of want to make my own stuff. I also want to work on projects. So I don't really have a good answer for where I'd be in 10 years. But I think either way, whatever I do, I'll end up creating something and being proud of that.
That's awesome. So you have a lot of different passions, and you have a lot of different hats, and you're going to pursue everything, and you're going to see where it goes. I mean, you might even have your own agency one day, the way that you're talking. It's awesome.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, listen, we live in a country where, it's endless opportunities, and the internet is a really big space, right? There's no borders, doing local business. It's really doing global business. So the opportunities are really endless. So what I would love for you to do is if you can tell us a little bit about your submission here, your website, which actually got you and your background to being the winner of this year's scholarship. If you can maybe just talk us through some of your conceptual thinking, your ideas, your vision, and what led to this website design that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, so it started with me being a UX student, being like, oh, I need to apply to UX roles, and I need a portfolio for that, obviously. Yes. Yeah, of course. It actually, probably the first idea of this, or the first iteration, was last year, and it was a PDF, and it looked kind of really bad. Like, there are some elements, and I can actually, if you don't mind, I could probably show you the Figma file for it, but it was everywhere. It's such a mess. Let me pull it up, actually. And from there, I kind of made a lot of modifications, but it really ended up being a PDF until the last 2 weeks of this summer, when I decided, you know what, I'm just going to learn how to code, because I've never had a background in it. I've never knew much about it. Yeah, this is my PDF. It's a mess. But I had the case studies, and when I was like, I'm going to learn how to code, and I feel like I can make something much better and more interactive and incorporate what I've learned from some of my courses, like interaction design. Mm-hmm. I wanted to put it all together on a live website that wasn't a PDF and also was more interactive. And that's kind of where this journey came from, where I started with whatever this is, the first iteration, and then built my way up and learned how to code, learned how to make things responsive, and then ended up with what I have now.
Well, I tell you, all the best ideas and some of my best ideas in my entire career started off on a napkin. Napkin sketch ideas, or you're in the shower and in the steam, you're writing a conceptual idea, or you never know when creativity is going to come. And sometimes, writing a little piece of paper, or I could tell you, my whole desk is just pretty much like your Figma board. I could tell you right now, if I showed you my desk, you would see scribbles of ideas and concepts and headlines and visuals and little sketches of conceptual thinking. But that's really where it happens. It's about the idea first. And sometimes you have to just explore different things. And
Yes.
yeah. So I think what you did is actually great. It's not a mess. It's actually, really the sign of a good mind that you have,
There are Post-its all over my desk. And I remember coming into the office because I had to lead the UI UX branch for my internship this past summer. I remember coming into the office, walking up to my devs, and I was like, guys, I had the best idea for a website in my dream last night, and I'm going to make this happen. And they were so skeptical because they're developers. They're like, oh, animation's going to be kind of rough. How are you going to format these? And you don't know anything about it. But I'm like, I'm going to do it. I've seen a vision and I want to implement it.
Yeah, definitely. So, I was looking at the kind of, the site, and as someone who's been kind of a chief creative officer and creative director for quite a long time, probably longer than you've been born. Dating myself, love it. With the front, there's so much other opportunity to kind of take it to the next level. Even with these clouds, you can even do something immersive where the clouds are actually moving and you're actually traveling through the clouds, as opposed to the clouds kind of being in front of you and they're kind of moving, side to side. I think there's a really, really great opportunity to do something even more immersive, where you're actually traveling through the clouds, and even other stuff, animated stuff. You could even make it fun, and again, I'm making this up as I go, but the frog detective could be hopping from cloud to cloud. He can almost be hopping to a cloud and kind of look back at the screen and go come on. And then you go and follow him. And then that opens up another cloud and another part of kind of the sky, where you're seeing the sun coming through and stuff like that. So now what you're doing is that I think the opportunity is to bring the frog detective to alive even more, but have him actually be almost like the host of the website. You know what I mean? He's like, hey, follow me, and he's hopping from cloud to cloud. You're going inside clouds. And even what could be really cool is behind the clouds, you could have little, kingdoms that are behind the clouds, almost take a Disney-esque Pixar approach where anything is possible, where there's even worlds behind the clouds, almost maybe one of the clouds is Greek mythology themed, because back in the day, they thought all the gods, they lived in the clouds, or it could even be frog kingdoms. Really the creativity, I see you laughing, say the creativity, it's great, right? So that kind of creativity, I think, is really, really endless for your concept. And I think it would take it to the next level to create the immersive experience, engaging experience, and really let that frog detective take people through the journey through the clouds. That would be kind of a really interesting idea. What do you think?
I really like that, actually, because storytelling has always been something that I love to do. That's why I have the bird on my homepage and all these characters in my projects. But I like that.
Yeah, and that's really is the next level. Is when I was looking at and you obviously won. This is fantastic. But what I was seeing is someone with more experience is that exactly right. Because I'm a storyteller. That's what I do. I tell brand stories, right? And exactly what you just think is kind of what I kind of want to hand to you as far as your thinking for your next projects, that you can start to try to take more of a storytelling, conceptual approach to it, and then try to take an interactive approach and interwoven into something that's immersive. And I think you're really going to create, kind of lead from the static website to the immersive website. And when it's an immersive website, right? So if one day you have a client and you're doing a website, right? What's going to happen now is that your targeted customers, right, are going to stay on the website longer. They're going to be on there longer. And statistically speaking, the conversion rates of websites go up so much higher the longer, statistically speaking, that someone is actually on your website. You're going to sell something, if it's e-commerce or if it's another case of capturing a lead from a customer, whatever it may be, as far as what that KPI and that goal is. The longer they're on the site, the more they're immersed in the website that they don't want to leave, the more you get them as a customer. So that really has a lot of that kind of thinking. It takes a long time to kind of generate that. It's about 30 years of experience, handing over to you. But in your future projects, I would love for you to take more of that brand storytelling, immersive engagement type of concepts, where the website doesn't become a website anymore, becomes an engagement.
Yeah, that's definitely what I strive to do, especially in the digital space.
Yeah, you can do it. That's definitely the next. That's definitely the next level. So maybe we can go into one of the case studies. I guess was there any particular case study that maybe we can kind of dive into that you would want to talk a little bit about?
I'm tied between Frog Detective and Cosmo Tea, but Frog Detective is a little bit longer and Cosmo Tea is more structured. So
we'll do both.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go into Frog Detective. So tell us a little bit about the approach to Frog Detective. And the floor is yours.
Yeah. So Frog Detective is an indie game trilogy developed by Worm Club. I'm not in any way affiliated with Worm Club or the game or its production, but because I did mention earlier that I used to or my passion for the digital space has stemmed from video games, I know a lot about how, just what the digital media field is capable of. And I was thinking when I looked at the original Frog Detective website that it's a little bit not stale, but I feel like it was so different from the actual game itself. And like you were saying, when it comes to making a website, especially to market something or to entice the users, I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting. So what I did was I incorporated aspects of what you might expect in the game, like for an example, talking to Frog Detective even, and scrolling through and kind of it being a journey of being able to see the case studies. Over time, it's just it's like the game, but also you get to see what to expect from the game. And if you want to see more, then, buy the game. So it was a whole revolutionary process to me because this is one of my first UX case studies ever. But I think overall, it pretty much hit what I wanted it to.
No, it's a great effort. I mean, for someone that's been doing this for a couple of years, I mean, we're super impressed.
Thank you.
Super impressed. And then, you even actually were down to the UX, the kind of the navigational sitemap architecture, the tertiary navigation. It was very, very well thought out.
Thank you.
Very well thought out for sure. All right, great. So let's jump up. What would be the second one you would like to go into? The Cosmo?
Yeah.
Cosmo? Okay, great. Cosmo Tea.
So Cosmo Tea was for a class project, and it was more of an exploration of interaction design, or at least micro interactions. I think it's a very basic kind of understanding of it, but we did learn the triggers, feedback, rules, and modes principles. Yeah. And the whole thing was to create a user journey that felt, smooth and interactive. And you can kind of take away or see what they took away from the course in my actual live website as well. But this was the first time when I really started thinking about every single interaction that the user takes, whether they tap, hover, delay, whatever, will have some kind of effect that makes it feel like it's, it's not just a static app or website. It's living and breathing, and it reacts to you basically. So I went with a boba tea shop theme because I know that boba stores have kind of atrocious apps to begin with. I derived it from an app that was completely non-functional to begin with. And I was like, you know what? Instead of rebranding one, I'm just going to just create my own. And I just went through the design aspects, and then I added I thought about what it would feel like for the app to react to the user and make it feel a little bit more alive. And you can like scroll through my case studies to see how I did that when I like broke it down into wire flows and interaction flows. And like I did all of it in After Effects, and it, that's how it all came together.
Wow. Have you ever thought about developing like your own mobile application?
I have, but I still only learned coding like a month ago. So somewhere down the line, it will happen because I do want to like make a mobile game. But for now, like, taking it slow, definitely on the list.
Yeah, definitely. Because I can actually see the way that you think, and just hearing you right now, just from my experience, that you have a good mind for a mobile app user experience. And that's what I was saying. And you also have the creativity. So I kind of see also like a side hustle thing for you is maybe to come up with an idea for a game. And even though that you're not a developer, don't let that hold you back. You might want to partner with maybe a mobile app development company. You might look at other things like there's some like solo entrepreneurs and small investment companies that you just might come up with like this unbelievable game, right? It could be like the next Candy Crush, right? Or like this billion-dollar enterprise, and someone just might see that's an investor, Jocelyn, and be like, hey, you know what? I know you're not a developer, but we have developers. We're going to partner with them, right? And that you might be able to bring your vision to life. So just keep that in mind. Just from my experience, I've done that myself, in the past, and I've advised entrepreneurs before and startups. There are other opportunities to get things done, right? You can always, you get things done. I know you can't build a rocket ship, but you can go find someone that knows how to build a rocket, but you have the idea for the engine, right? So it's that same kind of thing. Don't let that hold you back. Know that there's some very creative ways to get your ideas out into the world by partnering with other people, either for investment money or for someone that's a development partner that believes in it as well.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Don't let your big ideas hold you up because of an executional hurdle that you might see.
Yeah, that's kind of the approach I took with the website. Like, I'm just got an idea in mind, just got to take it. But that's also really good advice for what I'm actually doing in Code About Kids right now. So thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. That's what we're here for today. Great. So what's next for you? So you're still in school, correct? You have how many more years left?
4 years, including this one, as a 5-year program.
Right. And you're based out of what state?
PA.
Oh, that's right. You said that Pennsylvania. So born and bred in Pennsylvania?
Born and bred in Philly.
Oh, that's in Philly?
Yeah,
and they make the best cheesesteaks? Is this true?
Yes. I've had cheesesteaks from other places and they taste very weird to me.
Oh, really? Yeah, I would think, because you're in the mecca of it, I would say.
Yes. Right? It's iconic.
Yeah. So great. So listen, I just want to wrap it. Just tell you, like, again, we were super impressed, and we're hard to impress. Like, we're very, very picky, when it comes to design and seeing, conceptual thinking. Like I said, there was a couple hundred entries. You shined. I want to congratulate you on that. I see really big things for your future. Maybe you're going to want to contact me when you graduate. You never know. You never know, right? You might become a lounge lizard. But I think you're fantastic. And again, I really want to congratulate you on being this year's Lounge Lizards, scholarship winner.
Thank you.
Great. So, all right. So, do you have any questions for us? Is there anything that we could help guide you, or do you have any maybe questions? Now we can kind of go over that.
I feel like I have a lot, but also not at the same time. I think you were asking about what my future looks like. Yeah. Right now, I think at the end of this week, my co-op applications, because Drexel is a co-op school,
Mhm.
all that stuff is opening up. So I guess I'm looking for opportunities in that regard. Other than that, I think mostly I'm wondering in terms of UI and UX like research, because everything I know right now is theoretical.
Sure.
What are things that you do to ensure that, and this is going to sound silly, but like ensure that you get the results that you want to when you're doing research, like user research?
Sure. So user research is usually done for a project, right? And those projects have business objectives and goals associated with it. So to answer your question, and the same thing like at Lounge Lizard, when we're doing either a marketing campaign or a website, whatever it might be, we really truly go very deep in understanding our clients in this project's business metrics, the success metrics. Like what are some of the KPIs? What are some of the goals? I'll give you a prime example. Sometimes right now we're working on a project, and this particular company, I can't talk about who it is a robotic engineering company, and they make a machine that does something in factories. And one of their KPIs and goals is to break into the Netherlands, to break into other parts of the country, right? And they have other products in Europe that are not big in the US, so they want to increase their market share in the US. So just research in general, right? So there's UI and UX research and all that, but also what has to happen research is cultural research has to be done. So for instance, if you wanted to break into a market share in different parts of the world, right? Different parts of the world have different cultures, right? So understanding that is absolutely key. Understanding the different types of target audiences in the different parts of the world, that for this, it has to be part of the research. So I think UI UX research can't just be done from a UI UX research perspective only. To broaden yourself, you have to look at the business objectives, the KPIs, the success metrics, the target audience, the personas of the target audience, I think is really, really super important. Like, I'll just give you an example. Like when we were doing research for a company that one of their main target audiences was people that were like 60 and above. As an example, the UI research can't be a generic type of a research psychologist strategy, right? You have to adapt it to older people, which means that really kind of informs different design decisions, especially in navigation. You have to have everything simple, everything big. You have to really know studies of type sizes that are better for people that might be older versus a younger demographic. They're not as technically savvy, so a UI decision would take that into account and make the user experience of what they need to do and click easier, larger elements. It's almost like you're designing for a much, much younger kind of audience. But so I would say that would be my kind of recommendation to you on the approach, is to look at the business side of it, the KPIs, the success metrics, and really drill down the use case personas of all the target audiences, and have that research also inform the right type of UI and UX decisions based on those things as well, right? And then there's another kind of thing is also keeping abreast of design trends and changes, because everything is changing so rapidly, right? AI, how is that interjecting, right? Is there an AI component that might be a part of your UX UI design solution that would make this product, whether it's an app or it's a game or it's a social platform, whatever it may be, or a SaaS product, even better by using some of the technology, maybe even like with AI, so the user doesn't have to be finding and clicking everything, go through the experience. Maybe the AI is doing it for you based on certain prompts, as an example. So I would think I'll also have to think forward thinking, like, and really look at like some of the things as inspirations. Like I'm one of the judges for the Webby Awards, right? Which judging season is happening in about next month, actually. And so when we're judging, we're judging from agencies that are top-notch agencies around the world, right? And you kind of see like design trends and changes in the industry, things that are more bleeding edge. It's really staying on top of what's happening, not now, but what is trending to change in the next year. So you have to always be ahead of the curve. And I can't stress that enough. And because everything is changing. Like now it's lightning speed. Now it's lightning speed. So keep ahead of technology trends. Go to reputable resources like the Webby Awards and see who wins. There's Wired magazine. There's just Scientific American, just things that are just on the bleeding edge of just like technology and things that are changing. Make sure that you're aligning yourself with credible resources for that kind of research. For sure. Look at Forbes as well, and Forbes has some really good writers. I write articles for Forbes, but there's other writers that write about industry trends on technology and how that's changing, consumer user experiences. So really immerse yourself in that as well. So it's really a 360 holistic view. So it's not just, UX, UI, and say there's so many other kind of factors that you really need to keep in mind.
Thank you. That's actually very helpful.
Good. That is our objective for today, is to congratulate you, to let everybody know a little bit about you, and to let you walk away with some valuable information that is going to help your career and really propel you forward.
Yeah. Regarding that, I actually do have one more question, but it's really broad, so I apologize in advance.
Okay.
But yeah, so what happens in Coded by Kids where I work is that a lot of our like top-notch students kind of get return offers to work in actually a slightly separate like organization, the offspring organization called Coded by Ventures. And we're formatted in a venture studio. Like if you know what that is. And we're all kind of new to like the entrepreneurial process, but our goal is to like get investors and like make a product and start something new. And like, I just wanted to ask if you have any like general advice regarding that, like mostly in the tech space, but just
for pitching investors.
Just like anything, like building it. What are like some things that you might have seen that we should avoid, or what are like general plans or things that we can follow in our process, I guess?
Sure. So I guess when making, a business decision on something that you want to put your time and energy into, a lot of research has to go into if there's, competing products that are in that space, right? Which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's an opportunity to see maybe what they're not doing that you can do better, right? Also, one of the number one things I think when coming up with an idea for the next big thing or platform or app or something, the biggest thing is, are you solving a problem, right? That's the new number one thing. And I think entrepreneurs fall into that trap a lot. And in the .com days when Loungers was starting around there, like in the 98, 99, right? It was all about, in 2000, it was about mobile apps and .coms and all this stuff. And a lot of entrepreneurs were just putting things out that really didn't solve a problem. They just thought, oh, it's cool. So I think and I think about these things too. I try to come up with ideas all the time, and I have actually a brainstorm partner that I meet with every month in New York City, and and it's really about. And those ideas start with napkin sketches, by the way. They start on napkins at a restaurant or whatever, a lounge, and yeah, it's about solving a problem, and that's really. And sometimes the answers are right in front of you, right? So sometimes don't look about futuristic stuff. Sometimes it's just like the simplest thing. But I think you have to have your ears to the ground as far as like just like what's going on in the world, what's going in the news, or I don't know. It's about solving a problem, really. I mean, it's just solving a simple problem. And that's really what it comes down to. That's the foundational of everything what problem are you solving, right? Because everything else doesn't matter, like getting investors and stuff like that. It doesn't matter if you don't have an idea that's going to solve a problem. It could be a big problem, a little problem. It could just be a problem, or you're solving something, or you're making it easy. That's one way of looking at it. The second way of looking at it is there's a lot of changes with technology with AI, and how can that be used to deliver? Okay, so they're solving a problem, and then the other thing that I'm telling you how I think is I'm doing the same thing is how do we delight customers, right? So you solve a problem or you delight them, which is entertaining, right? And that could be through a game, that could be through something that's just super cool and it just delights people. But there's kind of like a caveat to that, right? There's delighting customers that could be kind of like really hot and then just, dies off. Delighting a customer means it's something that someone's not going to get kind of sick of and is going to stand the test of time, which is the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest thing to do, right? But when you hit it, right? So once you have that, you have to put out some kind of you can go Kickstarter, you can go kind of some of these, you can kind of try to grassroots, maybe build up, and people have done this, right? Through Kickstarter, right? You can raise money through that as well, as an option. But I think the people that like really donate to Kickstarter are the ones that are like, wow, that is like a really great idea, right? But when that happens, you better produce it pretty quick because everyone's seen your idea, right? So that's really my advice to you. And then I'll leave you with, and I've done it before too, is, in pitching investors, don't present an investor with a 25-page deck. They don't care. They don't care. So picture that you're driving on a highway, you see a billboard, you look up, that is the attention span of an investor. You have to capture their attention in quick glances. Boom, slide, boom, boom, boom. Not bullet points and you think they're going to read it. No, you have to make it very, very, very simple, simple, simple. So when you think you have your deck ready, cut it in half again, cut it in half and cut it in half. And then you're going to have a really good deck. Okay. So there's a lot of resources online that you can go to get information about how to create an investor deck and what investors look for. So that's there's so much more to that. We could probably talk about hours on this topic, but high level, I think what you should really do is focus is on solving a problem or creating something that's entertainment focused that is going to delight customers long term. That is not something that's a fad, right? That's going to last the test of time. You have to start with one of those two first before you get to the rest. But I would focus on solving a problem.
Yeah, that's actually like kind of the method we've been going with, but yeah.
You gotta solve a problem. You gotta solve a problem. Yeah. And great. So I think what you should do, Jocelyn, is definitely stay in touch with us. Our door is always open to you. If you ever wanted to, run things by us, no problem. We'll kind of, help you out on your journey. But I'll wrap by saying again, congratulations on being this year's Lounge Wizard Scholarship winner. And we wish you all the best in life and success and happiness.
Thank you. You too.